the truth unfolds. Jessica held the envelope tightly, her hands trembling as the weight of the moment pressed down on her chest. The man who had given it to her had disappeared into the crowd, leaving no trace behind. His cryptic words echoed in her mind, "It's about your father, and the real killer." She had thought the discovery of the DNA test results would be the turning point, the moment when everything would finally make sense. But now, standing outside the courthouse, the questions only deepened. Who was the real killer? And why had her father's innocence been hidden for so long? Taking a deep breath, Jessica found a bench in the courthouse square, away from the bustle of reporters and onlookers. She ripped open the envelope, her fingers stiff. Inside was a single sheet of paper, a letter typed in an elegant but urgent hand. "Jessica, if you're reading this, you have already uncovered the lie that kept your father in prison for 30 years. But what you don't know is that the truth you're seeking goes deeper than you can imagine. Your father wasn't just framed. He was silenced because he uncovered something far more dangerous, something that could ruin the lives of many powerful people." Jessica's breath caught in her throat. The words seemed to jump off the page, each one unraveling a mystery she had never expected. Her father had always hinted at knowing more about the case, but now it seemed he had stumbled into something that was never meant to be exposed. The real killer is someone far closer to you than you think. To find the full truth, you need to follow the trail left behind by your father. It's hidden in the files he kept, the ones you'll find in his old office. But beware, there are those who will stop at nothing to keep this secret buried. The letter ended abruptly. No signature, no further clues, just the chilling warning. The real killer is someone far closer to you than you think. A wave of dread washed over Jessica. Was the person who had framed her father really someone she knew? Her family? The idea was almost too much to bear. How could it be? But as she thought back to the oddities in the case, how the investigation had never quite added up, she realized that maybe, just maybe, the pieces were falling into place. Jessica's heart pounded as she entered her father's old study that night. The room was filled with dust, and the smell of old wood and paper lingered in the air. She had never stepped foot in here since his death, his personal space filled with memories she had never wanted to revisit. But tonight she had no choice. The room was exactly as it had been when he was alive. The leather chair by the window, the old wooden desk cluttered with papers, and the bookshelf stacked with case files and legal books. She closed the door behind her and began rifling through the drawers of his desk. There, in the back of the middle drawer, she found what she was looking for. A thick folder wrapped in a faded ribbon. It was heavier than she expected, and when she opened it, her eyes widened. Inside were photos, police reports, and old news clippings, pieces of her father's life before prison. But it wasn't just the case file. There were strange, handwritten notes, scribbled in the margins of reports, and names she didn't recognize. Among the scattered papers, one name kept appearing, Andrew Cartwright. The name was scrawled across multiple documents, but none of the notes explained who he was. Jessica picked up a photo that had been tucked under the papers. It was a group picture from a charity event. Her father standing beside a man in a sharp suit, smiling with an air of familiarity. It was Andrew Cartwright. Her breath caught in her throat. Her father had known Cartwright? And why was he involved in her father's case? Jessica's thoughts raced as she studied the photo. She had heard the name before. Andrew Cartwright was a powerful businessman, one of the wealthiest men in the city. But what connection did he have to her father? Suddenly her phone buzzed. It was an unknown number. "Hello?" Jessica answered, her voice shaky. "Jessica Armstrong?" The voice on the other end was low, gravelly, and unfamiliar. "Yes, who is this?" "I know you've been digging into your father's case," the voice continued. "And I know you've found things you shouldn't have. Let me make this clear. There are people who will stop at nothing to keep the truth buried. If you want to live to see the end of this, you'll stop now." Jessica's heart skipped a beat. Her mind raced. Who was this? Was this a threat? "I'm not afraid," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "Good," the voice said with an eerie calm. "Because the truth you're seeking won't just destroy your family, it will destroy you." The call ended abruptly. The next morning, Jessica sat in her car outside Cartwright's sprawling estate. She had done her research and now she was here. There was no turning back. The man whose name had come up time and again in her father's case was right here, living in the lap of luxury while her father had rotted away in prison. Jessica's pulse quickened. She had no idea how she was going to confront Cartwright, but she knew she had to. He was the key to everything. She checked her watch. No turning back now. Just as she was about to step out of the car, her phone buzzed again. It was an email from Dr. Miller, the forensic scientist. "Jessica, I've run the DNA test on the blood sample you provided. I need to talk to you as soon as possible. The results are unexpected. We need to meet. Her heart sank. What could be so unexpected about the results? Had her father's DNA matched the crime scene after all? Or worse, was it possible that the blood didn't belong to him at all? Suddenly, a dark figure stepped out of Cartwright's estate and walked toward her car. Her breath caught in her throat. It was Cartwright himself. He was walking straight toward her. Before Jessica could react, a hand slammed onto her car window. She jumped, her heart pounding in her chest. Jessica Armstrong, the man outside said, his voice deep, commanding. I know what you're trying to do, but you've gone too far this time. We need to talk. And with that, the door to her car creaked open and the man stepped inside. His presence was overwhelming, his eyes cold as ice. Jessica's mind raced, her thoughts a whirlwind. Was this the moment she had been dreading? Had she crossed a line she could never return from? Get in the car, he said, his voice calm but firm. You don't want to make this worse. The door slammed shut behind her and the car roared to life. The truth was closer than ever. But so was the danger. If you had the power to change the fate of your loved ones by revealing a painful truth, would you? Or would you protect them by keeping it hidden? Follow for part 3.